Alright, hey everybody, welcome to Character Corner number 4. This week we have got the Kirby series, and I have SmashChu and Nantendo joining me. Now, we all are fans of the Kirby series. I know I've been a fan ever since I was a kid. Have you guys as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, my introduction to it was with Kirby Dream Land, and while I wasn't, huge into the series, I missed out on the Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 ones, I think the handheld on the Game Boy Advance and DS, especially the DS, really pulled me back into it.
Mm-hmm. And you, SmashChu?
And I was actually the same way. I started on Kirby Dream Land 3, actually. Best Kirby Dream Land. But, but yeah, I've been enjoying the game since then. I pretty much I played most of them, I think.
So, with Kirby, we're just going to start off with probably the most popular character or recommendation for the Kirby franchise, which would be Bandanna Dee. Now, Bandanna Dee is... How long has he sort of been a character, separate from Waddle Dee?
I would think it's, I think there was a Bandanna Dee in Kirby Superstar, but it was just a character, he didn't actually... I think he appeared as, a joke boss, but he didn't actually get playable status until Return to Dreamland on the Wii.
Yeah.
As they needed a fourth playable character, and he kind of fit.
Yeah, he appeared just in text during Meta Knight's Revenge, so he would be talking, and of course, like you said, he was a joke boss because he defended. By defending him, he kind of just died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Bandanna Dee, he was requested a lot during Smash 4 speculation because in a lot of marketing materials you would see Kirby, D2D, Meta Knight, and then Bandanna Dee as sort of the 4 main cast. And so most people would argue now Bandanna Dee is now the 4th main character. And then of course you have Sakurai quotes where he's talking about Waddle Dee, and he's like, I'd be adding Waddle Dee to the game. People say that this confirms the character for future installments. What do you guys think about that?
What exactly did he say?
He said something like we can't just add a random character like Waddle Dee to the game, referring to as almost like a Koopa Troopa type of character.
Yeah, I think most would say kind of the opposite, that they don't want to add Bandanna Dee. But a big reason is because if you look at the Kirby series now, kind of over the years, there's actually a ton of characters. We'll talk all about them. But it's pretty much been the 4 major characters have been Kirby, King Dedede, Meta Knight, and Bandanna Dee, and at least Waddle Dee's getting an amiibo now too. Mm-hmm. So, at the very least, if you're going to say the most likely 4th Kirby character, would actually be him, if we're going to have a 4th Kirby character.
Yeah, if I had to choose one, I would love Bandanna Dee. I think he's an awesome and funny character. I've always enjoyed him in the games. He's got an interesting moveset idea, too, because we don't really have, a spear-throwing character in the game yet.
Mm-hmm. Now, that may be the only thing, though, too, is we don't really have a spear character, but it's got to think, what else could they bring? Because I think when Sakurai thinks characters, I think he doesn't think of, they have a different weapon, so it makes them totally different. I think he thinks of, what is this character's unique ability or gimmick or something that they can do that no other character can do. And I think for him, a spear might not be that much different than, say, a sword or a hammer. It's they use a weapon instead of using their hands. So that's kind of the only caveat, really, is that Waddle Dee doesn't really have, beyond using a spear, he doesn't really have any definable, thing to him that would make him a really standout character. And in the same vein, if you look at a lot of the characters, I don't remember the exact quote, but I know it's somewhere on Source Gaming. I think he mentioned that with a lot of the new characters, they've been kind of doing more gimmicks because the roster's gotten so big, so you can already have kind of the more basic characters, and a lot of the new characters are gimmicks like Shulk and Robin and Villager and Rosalina. All those characters just do something totally different than the rest of the cast. So in that kind of comparison, it's hard to really say what does Waddle Dee do that separates him from the rest of the cast.
Mm-hmm. I would say what really held him back from Smash 4 is Smash 4 is more of a game of introducing new characters and new series that are sort of separate from other stuff. And I feel like if they took the same mindset they did with Brawl in Smash 4, I think we might have seen Bandanna Dee in the game. Because with Brawl, they were introducing a lot of characters from series that were already represented.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Nintendo, what do you think about Bandanna Dee and his moveset? Because you're really good with moveset ideas.
Yeah, so the thing with Smash Brothers and Kirby is that the original Smash Brothers is very similar to Kirby Superstar, and so a lot of the characters play similar to how Kirby does in his games. And with Bandanna Dee, it could be a very simple bringing over his moveset combined with stuff from Spear Kirby, which is very similar, and just using that for his Smash 4 moveset.
I didn't really think of that.
His big focus would be his spear. It would give him reach, and he could throw it like a javelin, and he could spin it above his head, which is what he does in the games to float up. But if they were really thinking of trying to expand on it, they could just bring in aspects of other Waddle Dees. Almost every single game with Waddle Dee, and it usually has a new variation. So like in the new Kirby Robobot game, I'm pretty sure that you get Waddle Dees in mechs and stuff. And while they don't necessarily need to bring the mech aspect over for Waddle Dee, it shows that every game, if we look through it all, I'm sure we can find Waddle Dees doing various things that could fill in the
Yeah, I always
blanks.
thought his final smash could be like what Dee's was in Brawl. Like he just brings out all of his buddies to just like come and beat everybody up.
Yes, that could work. Waddle Dee army.
Waddle Dee
Make a comeback.
invasion. Maybe you could have big Waddle Dees too. Like that big one that has like multiple Waddle Dees in it, like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, they could easily do that. Yeah.
In the Robobot gameplay, isn't there like the background sort of interacts with the foreground, and it's like you have Waddle Dees just driving cars.
It's just
Isn't
that a thing?
It's a Captain Blue Falcon clone. Like Waddle Dee just crashes right into them and goes to a cutscene of him running them over.
Except he doesn't. He first stops and then honks his horn and then waits at the intersection. Because Waddle Dee's a responsible driver.
Yeah, we all love Bandanna Dee. We love to see him in the game. I think he's probably our first pick, most likely pick for most of us.
Well, that's the fourth like playable character, and he's been used a lot more, like that Kirby Wii U game, the Rainbow Curse one. That has the multiplayer characters you do using that are Bandanna Dee with various colours. Like they're clearly using him a lot, the current Kirby team.
Yeah, they are. What if instead of doing Bandanna Dee, they did Waddle Dee? But here's the thing: what if he's basically like playing like a minion? So when he dies, he may not like really die. Like you could come back, but he'd be really easy to kill. So you'd have to kill him like maybe multiple times before he actually goes away.
I have no idea how that would work in Smash.
I don't know how it works in Smash. I have theories because I got this idea from another character. There's another character game that does that. But I feel like after seeing the amiibo and thinking, well, Waddle Dee's kind of like a minion. Why don't he just play like a minion? He's really weak and you can just easily kill him, but he just keeps coming back. More Waddle Dees keep coming to fight you. I want to throw that out because I thought it'd be cool too. But I do think the amiibo I think it helps him. We'll have to see how those actually play out in the end. But I think he's a decent chance. If there's gonna be a new Kirby character, I agree that he would be one. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Nan, you gonna introduce our next character?
Yeah, so when Push, I should say, looked through all of the Japanese forums and stuff to find out what the most popular character there, the Kirby character, apart from Bandanna Dee that was pretty high, was Magolor, I guess, spoilers, the villain of Kirby Return to Dreamland. And so in that game, he's very much like the Marks from Kirby Superstar, in that he's a character who's pretty friendly to Kirby and stuff, but has ulterior motives and ends up getting a lot of the power and stuff in the end, and he's the final boss. So I guess he must be a really popular character. He's not one I really thought. He's certainly relevant. He's I think the most recent Kirby villain at the time that Smash 4 was in development. I don't remember when Triple Deluxe came out. I don't remember what year that was. But Magolor, yeah, he's really popular. He got a trophy in Smash 4. I think his time might have passed for him to realistically be added in. But if he did well in the Smash ballots, if they do take that into consideration, he might make a good Kirby villain.
Yeah. I always loved his design. I thought his design was really cool. I'm not really sure what he would do, though, in Smash.
Yeah, I agree with the design. I think he had a lot stuff for the boss fight, perhaps. And also in, I think, the Anniversary Edition, I think you actually race against him, funny enough. He can spawn enemies. I believe he does that.
Okay.
So maybe that could be the same thing. And obviously when he's like in his like final form, I think he also juggles them and throws them around too. Because that's how you get the powers for him. I mean, I think he could come with the moveset. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head because I had to go back and play that game. But I'm sure I'm just thinking he'd probably be one of those weird kind of defensive characters that has a lot of like kind of crazy moves and moves kind of differently. Because obviously he floats. He doesn't actually like have legs.
Return to Dreamland was such a fun game, dude. I remember waiting for that game for a while. I remember looking up like online, like, is there a Kirby game coming to console anytime soon? And they had one on like GameCube that was like in development, it was canceled. And I would keep looking up like every E3, like they're gonna bring it back, and they finally did with Return to Dreamland, like the very end of the Wii, and it was a great game.
Yeah, the end of the Wii had some really awesome platforming games on it. Like that was like platforming haven. I liked it. It was a good game. I think it was a solid game.
So apart from Magolor, the other, I guess, Kirby Wii character who's quite popular is Prince Fluff from Kirby's Epic Yarn. Like an idea of an Epic Yarn stage or character, I think, has been thrown around. like Prince Fluff makes the most sense. He's the player 2, and you already have Kirby in there. So unless you want to add Yarn Kirby, I feel like Prince Fluff would be able to do basically everything that Kirby does in that game.
Yeah, but it's like it's kind of like Maglora's time has kind of passed. Like he already appeared in one game. He wasn't. I think overall wasn't that popular. Kirby Epic Yarn was a very weird game. I think actually it was not even Kirby or wrong, but I think it didn't start as a Kirby game. It started as another game that became a Kirby game.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It was going to be a new Nintendo IP, but then they were like, "Oh, this looks too similar to Kirby. Just make it Kirby."
Yeah.
Which is a shame because it kind of killed any chance Prince Fluff had, unless they decide to make another Epic Yarn. Because if they do, I'm sure he'll reappear in it again.
I mean, maybe but it seems like maybe they're just gonna give other series the Yarn Trophy. So now it's time for Yarn Donkey Kong or Yarn Mario or Puppet Star Fox. I don't know.
Yeah, that whole franchise is so strange to me because I saw Yoshi's Woolly World and I was like, is this a spiritual sequel to Epic Yarn Kirby? And like, I wasn't a fan of Kirby Epic Yarn because I thought it was just way too easy of a game. I never finished it.
It was easy. You don't die, so like there's like you just walk through the game.
Yeah.
I honestly I think it's a bad game because of that, but that's just my opinion.
I'd like to see what Good Feel do because they also did the Wario Land game, which was like watching an animated cartoon.
Oh, the Wario game was awesome, and I think Woolly World's probably better too. It looks interesting. I've never played it, but
yeah, like they could do. I'm interested to see what sort of next they've got, whether they continue the Yarn thing. But that's not a discussion for today. I mean, Prince Fluff, he definitely has potential for a moveset, quite a good one. But yeah, it's his relevancy and I don't know how popular he was. I think he was talked about a lot in Smash 4 hype, but I think that was simply because of Epic Yarn and the possibility of a Yarn moveset, not so much for the character itself.
Yeah, I think it was a timing thing too, because I think Epic Yarn, remind me, came out like 2010. Smash PlayStation probably started about 2012, so it's just good timing.
Right. Well, SmashChu, do you want to say what another character then?
Let's talk about the old partners, Rick, Ku, and Kine, which they appeared in Kirby's Dream Land 2 and Kirby's Dream Land 3, and they make a lot of cameos like over the years.
Yeah, they were in the Kirby anime as well.
That's right. Oh, and they actually were in, or two of them were in, what was the game I was thinking of? Kirby's Triple Deluxe. They were in one of the stages, and they even had their music remixed. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's the Kirby Battle Arena they appeared in the cameos in, right?
I think maybe Kine did too. I don't remember. I know Rick and Ku did.
Yeah, I think the Kirby partners are quite good. I mean, Rick had a trophy in Melee, and they could potentially have a moveset seen as just like Kirby when you use them. They all have their own special abilities based on the power-ups they get. I think if any of them were going to be playable, Rick is the one that seems the most likely.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even adding on to the partners, there's also Gooey, who appears in Kirby Dream Land 3, who is like Kirby's he's the player 2 of that game, and I guess you could count him as one of Kirby's animal friends, even though he's like a blob.
He's kind of his own thing, and he is.
Yeah.
I think he appeared in Kirby 2, remind me, maybe wrong, but I think he appeared if you already had a partner, he appeared in there instead, and I think he gave you something.
Okay. Well, Gooey's really popular. I think on the SmashChu, if there was a SmashChu poll that we have on Source Gaming, which is the translation for characters for Melee, Gooey is one of the most popular Kirby characters that was in the list.
Yeah.
Like after King Dedede and Meta Knight, I'm pretty sure it's Gooey.
I just now made the realization that this character Gooey, I completely forgot about them. I just made the realization that people that have this as their avatar on like websites are not referring to Slime from like
No, it's Gooey, man.
No. Yeah, although he is very similar, I guess, in appearance to Slime. He's like a more dorky-looking slime with a big tongue.
Yeah, he has a lot of the same features. Actually, he'd actually be really good if you wanted to ever do a Kirby clone. There you go, do Gooey, because he's got a lot of the same, or he at least can eat and copy enemies like Kirby can.
Can Kirby copy enemies? I thought he could just eat enemies.
In number 3, he could. Okay. He could have a power too.
Oh, okay then. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess he could make a Kirby clone. Although I think the problem with all 4 of these characters, which I guess is another problem that with Magolor and Prince Fluff, is that a lot of them aren't from the Sakurai-made Kirby games, which is what a lot of the Smash Brothers series in general, the influence comes from, the games that Sakurai made and the Kirby characters and stages that he's most familiar with.
Oh yeah, because I think as far as stages go, they never made one outside of the ones he made.
No, I don't think they have. The only references to them have been from trophies, music, and stickers.
And he does,
which are easy enough to do.
Yeah. Also, though, he does have the big sword. That was kind of the first time they did something like that. His final smash now is the sword from Kirby's Return to Dreamland. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
I mean, there's nothing to say that he can't take from outside of his thing. He just hasn't done it in a major way, probably because he's less familiar with these characters.
Comfort, and I'm not sure. It probably would be going back if any character would be Bandanna Dee, just because obviously it's very close to what he's made. I think a lot of the Kirby games try to stick nowadays to the original games he was creating.
Mm.
And
A lot of them are based on Superstar Saga, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how Kirby's Return to Dreamland was. It was very much based on those games. Really, it was kind of a mix of Kirby's Adventure and Kirby's Superstar in the sense that you had different powers for the moves. You could summon allies to help you out, like that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, that's the partners. Another character, seeing as I gave 2 SmashChu.
I think the last character we have on there is Susie, which I did not know this is the character's name from Planet Robobot. I think she's a little girl on the box.
She's a robot. She's like I think she works for the villains. I think she's like the secretary for whoever's the big boss.
Yeah.
She appears as
I've never seen this character before.
Yeah, she's like pink-haired robot character. I was the one who wrote down this character, and the only reason I did was to because of a robot bot character. Like having a character in a mech. And if anyone's going to do it, she's the only like real new named character.
There's already fan art for this character. What?
I know. I was about to say the same thing. I'm like,
okay, maybe this character's really popular for some reason. Probably, I mean, in truth, it's probably because of the type of character. This is like a type of character people would be attracted to and make fan art of.
Yeah, well, I can see this character being like the new Magolor type. Like Magolor was popular, he was relevant, and Susie now fits that, and she can have a moveset based on the mechs, like the Kirby mech and the various power-ups that gets. So there's plenty of moveset potential, and I'm sure people want a kind of robot character, like a proper robot character, not Rob. Like, people wanted the custom Robo representation and stuff, like, because it's a sort of mech. And this kind of fits while already being in an existing franchise within Smash.
Yeah, that's possible. I think this character would be more of people who would talk about her more than she'd actually make it in, I'm going to be honest. I like her design,
probably.
actually. It's a decent design, and I'm surprised how many people have already, like... Because I didn't even know this character was a thing. I knew it was from the box art. I assumed that's who it was. But, like, I didn't know, like, this is already a character that people are all about on the internet, I guess.
People are all about the most random crap.
It was like, what? There's all this fan art already of it. I didn't even know this character really existed. I knew it was...
Well, this is the thing. It's going to be hard to judge until after the game is released how popular she remains. We don't even really know her role in the game. So...
Watch, she becomes the most popular character, and then the stalker is like, fine, you stupid idiots, I'm gonna put this dumb character in, fine, have it. Now you don't get
you can look back to here to see the moment. Everybody knew that Susie's gonna be in the game. I got 2 more characters before we end off the episode.
Okay.
First we got Galactonite.
Oh, I forgot about that one, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Galactonite was more popular, I would say, during Brawl Speculation after Meta Knight was revealed, I want to say, because people thought he could maybe be a clone of Meta Knight. Or is Galactonite officially a boy?
I have no idea. Are any of the characters officially particular genders except for King Dedede? But I mean, to be honest, I don't think Galactonite was around during Brawl Speculation. I thought his first appearance was Kirby Superstar Ultra.
It was, so he wasn't around during Brawl.
He wasn't around during Brawl.
Then Omni made that Galactonite Brawl fake though, back during Brawl though.
I don't think he made that during Brawl Speculation. I think that was just an early Smashified thing, like a post Brawl. Because I'm pretty sure his first appearance was Superstar Ultra, which is
I knew that
DS
too.
game.
I didn't really put the timelines together though.
I mean, maybe it came out before. Maybe it came out before Brawl, but it would have been certainly after Brawl development had finished, like early project plans and stuff. So
yeah, he only appears,
I don't know.
He only appears as a trophy in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. So
yeah. I think my thing with Galactonite is he's very, very similar. He's way too similar to Meta Knight, to be honest, for him to really be his own thing. Maybe a clone, maybe a Meta Knight clone.
Yeah, but I don't think I still don't think they would do that just because of like, why would you? I think it's really just he's not that popular and he doesn't really do much interesting. So it'd be kind of like you just would have him to have him. So I don't think it would ever really happen.
Yeah, he's always been like the secret boss. I mean, he's the last boss of a bunch of Kirby games. He's the secret boss in Return to Dreamland.
Yeah, it's actually only 2 Kirby games. It's only Superstar Ultra and Dreamland.
Was he
Return
Return to Dreamland?
Yeah, he was the super secret last boss. If you did like the hard mode run or something, I think, or the boss run, the true arena.
Oh, that's probably why.
Game.
I didn't beat the true arena. I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I think he's a
explains it.
clone.
Yeah. And then one more character that we got is a character from Kirby and the Crystal Shards, which is Adeline.
It's a shame. Adeline's really popular, and I think the idea of a character who paints and makes stuff come to life is a recurring Kirby theme. I mean, just look at Power Paintbrush and whatever the Wii U one is. I'm always going to forget that name. But unless that is Power Paintbrush, in which case it's the DS one. But whatever. Bringing stuff to life through drawings is always a common theme in Kirby, and Adeline's been is the popular character, the proper named character that people want to see. Her only issue is because she is literally just from Kirby 64, which was a non-Sakurai based game, which I don't think sold particularly great compared to Kirby standards.
Nah, I just played that game so much as a kid, so
No, I love that game too. She was also in Kirby Dream Land 3, but like Ada was the name. She may have been named.
Oh yeah, she had a different name.
She was pretty much the same character though. It's funny too. I think this character was more popular because of Brawl in the Family, the old kind of comic, when she was a major character on that. But I think it's because she was a cool character. I think it's unfortunate they didn't use her more in any other game.
If she's one of the characters that I see, if she does ever just make a reappearance, if the Kirby team just decide to start taking old characters from the past and reusing them, then I could potentially see her in Smash, because she is popular and she was ever since in Crystal Shards she was a main character. She was one of the characters that Kirby had on his team, but it's her lack of being around, a lack of relevancy and exposure that I think stop her.
That really is the thing for the Kirby series, right? Besides with Bandanna Dee, it seems like all these characters that we've named, it's like they're around for one time and they're really loved, and we never see them again except for maybe one cameo appearance.
Yeah. And it's a bit of timing too, because I think if Super Smash Bros. Was made earlier, let's say if it was made earlier, because then characters like Rick or Gooey could have actually been a possibility. I can't say that. Because they were popular during their time, they were more relevant during their time. It's just those characters kind of faded away, and a lot of the new characters they've been making, the Dreamland characters, kind of faded out, and a lot of the new characters are usually only around for one game. Like Susie's probably going to be around for this next game. Prince Fluff is of course only around for one game. Maglor's probably never going to come back again. A lot of these characters just aren't going to reappear. They're just made for one game and they're just kind of thrown away. And I think that's the issue with the Kirby series in general. Is because the core Kirby characters are Kirby, King Dedede, Meta Knight, and sometimes Bandanna Dee or Waddle Dee, however you want to do it. Like, those are kind of the core characters, and I think that's why if you're going to say the fourth character is probably Bandanna Dee, just because he has...
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that brings up the good point of, is the Kirby series properly, fully represented in Smash already? I mean, Kirby was arguably Kirby was severely underrepresented until Brawl, when he got 2 new characters. But now, when you think of Kirby, those are, the only 3 characters. Sans Bandanna Dee, who's been getting a lot more popular in recent years. So, it's does Sakurai feel like he needs to add any more Kirby characters? Or, for him, is this, what it should be?
I think it's kind of what it should be, in part because those characters are the ones he created. Bandanna Dee technically too, but Bandanna Dee is really just kind of a Kirby. It's a Waddle Dee, with the bandana. That's basically all it is. But I think the issue is, especially if you look at Smash for Wii U, is it very much focused on new series, and a lot of the DLC at least focus on third-party characters. So it seems that definitely they wanted to focus on series, and I think he said that too, of newer characters. Where in this game there wasn't a lot of characters from a continuing series, and a lot of them were it was mostly pretty much just Kid Icarus, Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and Mario. So they really only did it in a few instances.
It's series that had been growing more popular and had games that had just come out at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what definitely I would say, especially for Kid Icarus and Fire Emblem. It definitely was a timing thing.
Which is, like I said, I don't remember when Triple Deluxe came out, but I have a feeling it was after 2012.
It was after.
Which means that...
It was after 2012, I think, or during 2012.
Which means Kirby just wasn't that relevant at the time that Smash 4 was planned, which is, another reason why he probably didn't get a character, because he didn't have a brand new game out, and for Sakurai, he was probably already fairly well represented. Yeah,
and he was fairly new at that time, because the first real appearance was Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which came out before Smash
2009?
10,
yeah, 2009, 10, I think.
Maybe it was 10. 9, I don't remember. But somewhere around there. But I think now it may be different going in, because obviously they're using him more, or they're using Waddle Dee more. It definitely seems with the amiibos are saying that Waddle Dee, of some variation, is the 4th Kirby character.
Yeah. But we'll have to see in the next Smash. I mean, if Sakurai doesn't return for it, then whoever's the new director may see that and be like, well, they got this new Kirby character, so maybe he can add it on.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. Alright, well, I think that's good for Character Corner number 4. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think
Solid.
we covered all the characters we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, you guys want to plug anything? Probably just your Twitters and stuff?
Look out for usual stuff. I mean, both me and SmashChu, we have a combined article coming out soon, which a pre-E3 article, and so look forward to that. It should be really good. We just need to actually start getting a proper version of it written up.
Don't worry,
Yeah,
that's
and I'm
probably
sure
my fault.
SmashChu is about to talk about this, but SmashChu and Spazzy are starting a GoFundMe for our E3 coverage over at Los Angeles.
Yes.
So we would appreciate if you guys would go and contribute to that if you want to. Of course, you don't have to, but we appreciate that.
Well, definitely. And keep in mind, if you do contribute, you'll be able to kind of guide our hand in what we wanted to cover. We'll be covering Nintendo, but I think a lot of the other stuff will be up to readers or contributors. And we'll also be having a Q&A session probably sometime after E3 where you can kind of get all your questions out that you want to answer. And of course, you can do it before. We'll try and get what you need. And those two either contribute to Patreon or give to our GoFundMe will get first dibs in what they want to ask. And we'll hopefully have some other goodies for those people who have contributed as well. We're still kind of planning a lot, but definitely those are two things that if you want to contribute, hey, you get kind of a front row seat. You get it straight from the source.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, like having small sites like us go, because like with bigger sites like IGN and stuff, they're gonna be covering like the new Call of Duty and stuff like that. Probably just the NX as a whole. Like with us, like we can cover like if you see a small game you see announced, like you guys can go and check that out for people if they want to see it. Yeah.
Yep.
So guys, look on the bottom of the screen here. You guys will see 3 choices for the next Character Corner. Be sure to vote, and we will tally up the results, and we will pick the winner for next time's Character Corner. We appreciate you a ton. Go check out Source Gaming's website. Again, we appreciate you so much. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.